Most people think their gut just hates beans, and it doesn't. Done right, beans actually boost your gut health. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to eat them without the bloat or that heavy, gassy feeling that's quietly made you give them up. Because here's the thing, beans are one of the most cheapest microbiome-supporting foods on the planet. The prebiotic powerhouses that feed your good gut bacteria. They have a proper hit of protein, they're good mood food, and you can add them to pretty much any meal you like. And yet most people break up with beans, but you don't have to. In clinical practice, I see people with the worst gut health still tolerate beans beautifully with just 1 or 2 simple steps. And I'll also show you which beans are the gentlest on digestion. It's not hummus. And stick around to the end because there's one essential prep step your great grandmother did on autopilot that I just don't see done anymore. And it's the step that gets around 90% of my clients eating beans again. So today we're gonna climb the bean ladder. These are the steps that make beans the best for your belly. Just start with 1 and then add on if you like. Okay. Number 1, B is for begin small. Don't eat a full bowl of beans. Eat 1 spoonful. Maybe it's a spoonful of dal or a few cooked beans stirred through like a curry or some kind of dinner. That's just to start. 1 spoon for 1 week and then slowly build up from there. And yes, you can use canned beans. And I definitely do, and I'll get into the biggest mistakes I see with canned beans in a second. Now, here's the part that nobody tells you. Why starting small matters so much. You've got a tiny army of gut bacteria whose only job is to break down beans. And if you barely feed them and then hit them with a 3-bean burrito, they're totally outnumbered. The fiber just sits in your stomach and it ferments. That's the gas. But feed them a little regularly, that army grows. Right, let's move on to the second rung on the ladder. The E stands for easiest beans first. So before you rush out and get the hummus, there's a catch. Chickpeas are actually some of the hardest beans to break down. So we don't start there if your digestion is a disaster. And here's the key. Almost every bean wears a skin. And you can think of it like a jacket where the tougher compounds like the lectins and the tannins, which are harder for your gut to break down, they're in there. And some of the beans come with the skin off already. Those are your gateway beans to try first. They cook faster, they break down softer, they're far gentler on a sensitive stomach. So start your spoonful here. Red lentils, yellow mung dal, or yellow lentils. You'll find them in pretty much any supermarket, and you can even grab the pulse pasta, which I cook regularly. And it's so quick, they cook within 10 to 15 minutes and they just melt into a puree. And Indian kitchens have known this for centuries, that skinless beans are the easiest to digest. The next easiest is the chana dal on the split peas. And I batch cook a massive split pea soup with pork and ham soup once a month for the winter work week. It's actually my son's favorite meal. Now, there's an essential prep step coming it's been long forgotten, and it's a game changer for gut health. And yes, even do it with the skinless beans, you'll notice a difference. But first, I want to know, what is your favorite bean dish? So if you've ever thought my gut hates legumes and beans, don't dive into the deep end with kidney beans or chickpeas. Start in the shallow end of the bean pool with red lentils. And if you want a little trick to start making your own hummus, you can actually take the skin off the chickpeas by rubbing the cooked ones in a bowl of water, and the skins float to the top. And that's how hummus was originally made. The skinless is much easier to break down. Okay, here's the one I promised you. And if you've got real issues with beans, this step is essential. The failure I see all the time, beans tipped straight from the bag into the pot, not soaked. So here are the last 2 letters of the bean method, the part that's always forgotten. A, always soak, and then tip the water away. So you're gonna take your dried beans, cover them with filtered water, and depending on the variety of bean, you're gonna add a splash of lemon, apple cider vinegar, or whey. And there's a soak time, depending 4 hours or overnight. And that changes bean by bean. And if you want the method to that, I've got a Prep Like a Pro cheat sheet. I'll put the links below to grab that. You could also use a pressure cooker to cook it. It shortens the cooking time. But this one step makes the biggest difference to tolerating beans. Soaking lets a lot of those gas-making sugars, the oligosaccharides, leach out. So you're literally pouring the problem down the drain. And what about canned beans? Well, I eat canned beans myself all the time. Just look on the label that says soaked and always rinse them really, really well, because that aquafaba liquid is both very hard to digest and has compounds and preservatives designed to kill the bacteria, including the good ones in your gut. Now, I also cook canned beans with digestive herbs and spices, which brings us to N. Nourish with digestive herbs. Cumin, fennel, ginger, even a strip of kombu, like they do in Japan, inside the cooking pot with the water. Now you can easily batch cook these soaked beans with these herbs and then freeze them in smaller containers. And then throw them into curries and salads and wraps. I've got a spaghetti bolognese that's 1/3 lentil, and you can check that recipe out here. And remember, you don't have to do them all. Just try one and then add from there. And if after all that you're still bloated with beans or other healthy foods, the deeper driver is often something like gut dysbiosis. And simply your gut bacteria is out of balance, and dysbiosis does not fix itself. It builds quietly while symptoms get louder. And that is why I've created a gut reset and repair program. It is a step-by-step clinical roadmap I use with my clients, but without the price tag of the one-on-one sessions. So the link is below if you want to go check that out. So remember the bean method. Begin small, 1 spoon. Easiest beans first. Red lentils, yellow mung dal. Always soak and tip out the water. Nourish with herbs, because beans were never the enemy. They were just asking to be treated the way that our ancestors always knew, and given to the gut army that's had time to grow. Now, let me know in the comments which step helped you the most. And if you want to know how to make quinoa gut healthy, check out my next video. And until next time, love your guts.